Hi there, Gemini. Here's a general look at your solar chart for November 2012. And may I just apologize for the muddle that's gone on between your video and the Taurus video for Taurus. I'm remaking the Gemini video because it's just got lost. Something very strange has happened this month with the Taurus and Gemini videos, and we've ended up with 2 Taurus videos and only one for and none for Gemini. But I'm going to blame this on the full moon in Aries opposite Uranus, with a few other vibrations thrown in at the same time, that happened when I filmed the videos, which is at the end of September, the first couple of days of October, over that time there. And so this is a very unexpected knock-on effect of that particular vibration in the sky. And this is another way, of course, it can work. It gets hidden, it gets buried somewhere, and then up it pops when the aspect has actually gone, but then you are receiving the cause has been there, and then you're receiving the effect of the vibration that was prevalent at the time. So anyway, I'll blame it on that. And again, I'm sorry, but hey, let's get on with it. So I think there's going to be a very practical feel to this month. Gemini, every year at this time the sun comes around into an area where you've just got to roll your sleeves up, get more organized, and be looking at maybe the more physical aspects of your life here on Earth. You know, some of you looking at diet, exercise, or remedies, therapies, or whatever. But also it just might mean getting on with more niggly details, chores, and just keeping to a routine, managing your time better. And you may be putting more effort into things like maintenance, repairs, or learning skills, applying skills, teaching, using equipment, getting your head around, you know, which button to press, and just trying to get things running smoothly this month within all that external way, but of course with your own, you know, physical as well, if it's like that for you. Or indeed it could be that you've got the physical health aspects of somebody else on your mind at this time as well, or doing work, you know, on behalf of or with somebody else as well at this time. But it looks as though you'll have a laugh along the way, and because of where Venus is at the moment. But do watch out for the 27th of the month, because that's when Venus goes past Saturn. So you might have to be just a little bit more serious, and maybe take a bit more on board then. And now there's going to be an eclipse. In fact, there's going to be 2 eclipses. There's going to be a solar eclipse in Scorpio that's happening on the 13th, and that hints at new beginnings in the area of your work, your job, your daily chores, but also your health or somebody else's health. And eclipses are completely neutral. They don't have an opinion one way or the other. It's up to you to sort of instigate whatever you want to sort of input a positive change on the wave of the eclipse energy. And it's good to do something maybe the day before or on the day of the eclipse itself. Just one small step, you know, in the direction you'd like to go. And then the way opens up for fresh beginnings with your daily work, your work conditions, your health conditions, or somebody else that you're concerned about, or health routines, or maybe it's to do with an ongoing project and you're having to get more skilled up somehow or other. Whatever it is, this is going to be going on over months to come, around about 6 months. Now, the lunar eclipse is in your own sign. This happens on the 28th, and this signals new beginnings for you personally, Gemini, almost like a new chapter, or maybe we would say a new page. For some of you it could be a new chapter. That depends on your natal chart, but let's call it a new page. And that's going to be personally, but also perhaps professionally, over the following month. Lunar eclipse energies, the pulse lasts for a shorter time, so it'll be over the following month. But the strange and weird thing about eclipse energy is that we often start to feel the change or the area being emphasized in the run-up to the eclipse, and nobody's been able to explain that yet. Now, communications, that's your thing, Gemini. And you are the sign of the zodiac that needs to express yourself through whatever medium you can, whether it's speaking, writing, or anything else. But communications for personal or professional reasons and in close interactions and collaborations are highlighted, and you'll be probably bouncing ideas off others. You'll be either intrigued or less than impressed by somebody else's take on things. But even if you do disagree, it does help you to crystallize your own thinking, or to sort of make a mental note of how not to do it. You may be in relation with someone whose guidance or information you feel is very valuable to you at the moment. And you yourself, though, if we turn that around, you yourself could be valued for your ability with information, advice giving, guidance, being an agent or a go-between at this time. But your guidance as well, you'll appreciate that more at this time. Now, between the 6th and the 26th, Mercury, your ruling planet, does retrograde. And whenever it retrogrades, I think I'll call him, you know, the little guy with the hat on, with the winged hat on. Now, whenever he retrogrades, it does tend to slow things down, make you feel like your wheels are spinning in mud. There can be crossed wires, there can be miscommunications. Not every day, but there's a little bit of a tendency there for you to be waiting on things, and maybe just you having to dot the I's, cross the T's, and just being a little bit more careful when communicating or when traveling. And on the 14th, Mercury in the retrograde period actually retrogrades into the previous house where the Sun is. And so your mental energy will be very much focused on everything I was saying about the Sun's position in this very sort of workaday, routine, everyday health-orientated house to do with maintenance and repairs and the like. So you may have those sorts of practical details, basic stuff on your mind more from the 14th. And you could also be in some sort of working collaboration there. Venus's position until the 22nd can mean more fun, though, a more playful feel. And this is quite a nice balance with all this very sort of work-centric, if that's the word, energy going on. So more connection maybe with people you like to hang out with for sort of fun, playful reasons, or with young people, children, young people, pets as well, or sort of romantic partnerships. And it may mean that you feel a bit center stage and all eyes are on you for whatever the reason. Let's hope it's a good one. But it also might mean that you just feel more valued, you feel more recognized for something, whether that's from others, so that's a nice little ego stroke for you, or whether that's just yourself saying, you know, patting yourself on the back and saying, you know, well done me, I knew I could do it, or I'm not been doing too badly here at all, or whatever it is. But it's most likely be coming from the outside. Maybe you take a risk of some kind, maybe you, because there's a competitive feel here as well, so maybe you manage to sort of come up tops in some way during this transit here. But in general, it may mean more enjoyment, and particularly through the creative area, the creative arts. For you arty Geminians, this is a good one, but also with leisure type pursuits, hobbies, things that you do which aren't the day job, and just anything that you find empowering or sort of deeply satisfying and fulfilling. But you know, you can have a laugh and a giggle along the way. And relationships, a relationship can center around any of these things. Now, some of you might be doing serious work related to entertainments or the arts. So again, you know, this is a good transit for that, because again, you just get this nice sort of warm, friendly, hanging out, sociable sort of feeling. And then from the 22nd, Venus moves into this more sort of work-orientated area where the Sun is. Actually, Sun will have moved out of there by then. but Venus comes into there, but the feel of it won't be the same. It just means that you could be teaming up in a practical kind of a way with someone over something or other. So if these are work sort of at work related, like work colleagues, this bodes well for getting on with them in a civilized sort of a way, or even in a fantastic sort of way. And you'll probably be in quite a cooperative frame of mind. You want to help out, or in fact you could find that you get support, really good support from the 22nd onwards, with practical things or health related things. And you are probably going to have a pretty reasonable interaction with service providers, health providers, and anyone that you are in relationship with. You can get quite a lot done together. And also there's likely to be a female who is of practical help when you need it as well. Or if it's not a female, it's somebody that you feel very, very sort of heart connection with. But, as I said earlier, when Venus passes Saturn on the 27th, you know, just you might have to be more restrained there. Relationships can be, you know, harder work or more demanding. Now, until the 17th, personal professional exchanges are likely to become more lively because of the agenda of another. What's going on for another? There's more physical demands put upon you, you know, and you and someone could really hit it off and get a lot done, or you and someone actually could sort of push each other's buttons. However it is, there's likely to be quite a strong dynamic between you and someone. And once again, you need to be patient, because Mars always needs us to sort of input a little bit of extra patience. Mars can be too hasty, handle someone too sort of hastily or just badly, or you are you just throw caution to the winds before you thought something through, or you make a full start because you didn't really kind of look into it properly in the first place. So the advice would be to keep things on an even keel. Don't dive in head first too fast. Don't try and go too far too fast. And do not try too hard, particularly physically putting yourself out there too hard on somebody else's behalf. Just go at your own pace. But overall, cooperating with someone is favoured at this time, as alliances can be beneficial, very, very beneficial. Actually, you could find that someone and you could do work together, to do business together, and sometimes you'll have to slow down and understand things from their point of view, you know, from where they're looking, where they're coming from. And definitely another's feedback at this time will help you to be more effective and functional than if you were going it alone or somebody else's assistance. And then from the 17th, Mars moves, and Mars then will be helping you for around about 6 weeks to process a lot, maybe internally, maybe keeping the lid on things a little bit, being aware of the financial picture, the picture around property, and also certain contracts and agreements, maybe from the past, or maybe in the now, or maybe something you'd like to, you know, sign on the dotted line for. But just take care there. Again, it's Mars, and Mars likes to go too fast. And also you might feel a bit like you're under somebody's thumb. You know, you haven't got a free hand here in some way, or it's because of somebody else on a moral sort of level that you have to do certain things or behave in a certain way, or it might just be an outside agency and it is centered around money or property or a space or a venue or something like that. But it can also mean passionate feelings in relationships, whether they're platonic or not. You know, you and somebody really getting enthusiastic about something together, or enthusiastic about each other. So very good time to throw your energies into a joint project, as long as you are keeping it, you know, on an even keel, and you are sort of, it's kind of a mutual thing. But you can't go forward as well on your own as you can, you know, with this other person, because you have to rely upon their contribution, maybe it is, or their endorsement, their approval, whatever it is. And then you will be shifting from one stage to the next here, because this is actually in an area of transformation where Mars has moved to, and so you will be shifting out of from one stretch of road. You know, you will be turning off onto another stretch of road, which is different. But before you do that, and before you come to that junction, you may be weighing up the pros and the cons around whatever it is. And you probably have to feel your way forwards rather than to try to think it out in a very rational kind of a way, because this is a very watery area Mars is in, and your gut hunches will serve you better, really, or I shouldn't say better, but as well as the thinking part of your being. So feelings, though, will be nearer the surface. It's a water house, so therefore you feeling a bit emotional, or it's easier to push your buttons, or you're very, very sort of drawn and passionate with another. So however it's working for you, there's going to be a gear change, and it will tend to be happening in your feelings, but you will come to the sort of conclusion that the writing's on the wall. You've got to get rid of one thing in order for another. Maybe it's junk, or maybe it's, you know, baggage, emotional baggage, or maybe it's an old standpoint, an old habit. So you've got to get rid of this, and then once that space is cleared, the new birth, the new beginning can use the space and take root and come in. Now, last month on October the 6th, Saturn moved out of Libra, where it's been since late 2009, thus removing the limitations and challenges you've experienced with activities you find personally empowering. So you're going to find it easier to do things that you find personally empowering. You're going to find it easier to be in a romantic relationship with someone, or it's going to be easier with kids, or it's going to be easier for you creatively and with your self-expression. Now where the limitations have moved to, and where you feel the most is in your area of work and health-related matters as well, whether that's your own or somebody else's. But if you go on my website, you can see a little bit of writing there about the possible effects of Saturn having moved to the next area for you. Now, luckily, Jupiter is in your sign. You may or may not know, but this is great news. Comes around once every 12 years. And so Jupiter's there until next June, bringing a time of potential and will with your cooperation, because we don't just sit there like, you know, vegetables in a vegetable patch and let, you know, the weather affect, you know, come in and do stuff to us. We've got to seize the vibrational weather and work with it. So if you co-create with these vibrations, you can expand wonderfully into new areas or new fields of interest over these several months. And Jupiter will help you to widen your scope, see a bigger horizon, maybe travel more, feel less stress, and try to keep things real, though, especially early Geminians, because you're getting a lot of Neptune onto your the first degrees of your sign, and you can go all pie in the sky on us. But if you keep things simple, grounded and realistic, you won't go far wrong. In fact, you can do it really, really right, because Jupiter is about a potential abundance. Key feature of Jupiter is learning through doing, and so you could be taking on new experiences, seeing new faces, places, people, learning new skills, and yes, there's a lot more about Jupiter, which again you can see on my website. And it's time to spread your wings, actually, Gemini, I would say. And then from the 22nd, you will be maybe happy to compromise, or in fact to sort of liaise and work together in a partnership or in a one-to-one relationship sort of a scenario, and but be more sort of open to the other side's, you know, needs and requirements, and you'll be fine. And that's it for November. I'm sorry this is a little bit late. And if you are not on my website, you can find you can go there and find what's happening with the slow moving outer planets. A bit more about Jupiter, a bit more about Saturn as well. And also, if you know your rising sign or your moon sign, then find the forecast for those if this one here isn't it. And I will see you the next time.